kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Welcome everybody in to Sim Racing Media. Tonight we are home to the Western States Racing League as they head north from Nashville to Michigan International Speedway. Last week we witnessed a dominating performance by Wade Hustad here, leading 101 of 120 laps on debut. League regulars Kyle McCartney and Bentley Glazer rounded out the top three. And as we move forward here, this league has been around for quite a while. We've been working on, I believe it's season 48 now. So we have some guys that have reached over almost 500 starts like Bob Beltrami. But this week we also have a few guys, Bentley Glazer here and Dustin Burns, that have reached that 100 race mark. We also have David Weaver. Usually he's out on track making thousands of laps every day for practice here. And he's reaching his 200 league race milestone. So as we move from practice to qualifying, we'll head down and see who's one of the first ones to get out on track. And looks like it's Earl Weaver this time. These guys are back in the Xfinity cars this week after last week racing in the trucks. They are out on track right now. Earl Weaver's the closest one to starting his lap here. I think both the Weavers kind of have a bet to see who gets out on track first, as David Weaver's also out on track in that number 16 Chevy. Red Williams, the number 95 Chevy, starting his first lap. Last week's winner, Wade Hustad here, trying his luck this week in the Xfinity car. Justin T. Wilkinson just ran to the top of the board with a 39.70. Carl Burke up there with a 39.82. Wayne Hutchinson, a 39.94. Bob Beltrami matches him. Ryan Steele up to 5th quickest at the moment, looking to finish his second lap. Looks like most of these guys are still working their way through here. Earl Weaver's pulling it off after his first lap. Ryan Steele, second lap, went 39.58, drives him right to the top of the board. Michael Melfeld Jr. up there with a 39.66. Bob Beltrami comes back with a 39.70. If anybody else is going to make some way here, looks like Lyle Swearingen completed his first lap with a 41.38. See if he can go faster this time by. I think he's trying to get all he can out of that 68 Chevy there. Got those nice team colors repping. Coming towards the start-finish line on his second lap. Jumps up to 4th quickest with a 39.66. Last week's winner, Wade Hustad, came back with his second lap with a 39.37. Top of the board once again. Bentley Glazer on his last lap was a 39.46. Do have quite a few guys have not qualified yet or got out on track. Like Kyle McCartney's starting about halfway through his first lap here in that 18 Toyota. See where he goes this time. First lap is 41.77, so it looks like everybody's kind of got their second lap is where they get the most speed from it, except for Justin Michael. Justin Michael was a heartbreaker a couple weeks ago, led a lot of the laps, and then just barely was able to pull away from his teammate there. A 39.42 for his first lap, and he's done and off the track. Charles Woods' second lap was a 39.65. Chad Simpson finished his second lap with a 39.66. Dan Brazington out on track in the FBR team colors as well. Not quick enough there with the 40.25 down the board a ways. Kyle McCartney was able to get his next lap a little bit faster than his previous. That lap was a 39.75. But it doesn't look like anybody's going to be quick enough to catch Wade Hustad right at the moment. We got about 4 minutes left of qualifying. Quite a few guys have not qualified yet. We'll see what happens here momentarily. Jeff Hollingsworth with a 40.02 first time by. Second time goes pretty quick, a 39.61 up to fifth right now. Ross Rollins just put down his fastest lap with a 39.51. One of the guys we were talking about in that 04 Ford, Dustin Burns, finished his second lap with a 40.42. Looks like we have Jeff Schmeier just starting his. Julian Ricci wrapping up his first lap. First lap's good enough for 39.80. Ooh, gets loose coming off the corner, so that's probably going to be his last lap. Jeff Schmeier halfway through his first lap. As we're looking at Schmeier, Butch Davis on his first lap put a 39.50 up on the board. He can hold it together through the second lap. He might give the pole setter at the moment, Wade Hustad, a run for his money there. And it looks like he is calling it there. Jeff Schmeier was able to get a little bit quicker on his first lap. We'll see if he can go faster here. Like he's got about a quarter of track left to go. These guys get a little bit loose coming out of the corners. That back end just was sliding all over the place. Into the wall goes Schmeier, so he'll have to settle for a 39.62. Wayne Fleet's first lap was a 40.25. See if he can go any faster this time by. Looks like he's not quite doing it. A little bit slower. Wayne Fleet with 39.83 that time. Andrew Schulte out here in a Chrome 81 Chevy. Just starting his first qualifying lap. Got about a minute to get it done, so this first lap's probably going to be it. He's going to be close. Got about 15 seconds to make it back. He should be able to do that. He is able to get one lap in. His single lap's a 39.53. Just got it in before the session and qualifying was over. So we'll let these guys get in their cars, and as we do that, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the race info. We are set for 80 laps tonight. They have 4 sets of tires around this 2-mile oval here. We'll see if these guys can make their way around it. We saw them sliding a little bit in practice, and they're right there at the qualifying as well. These guys get in. Go down the list here. All right, so we got Wade Hustad on the pole. Justin Michael, P2, Bentley Glazer sitting P3 inside row 2. Butch Davis just to his outside. Ross Rollins in that blacked out 91. Andrew Schulte rounds out row 3. Row 4, Ryan Steele and Jeff Hollinsworth. Jeff Schmeier and Charles Woods in row 5. Row 6, Lyle Swearingen, Chad Simpson. Row 7, Michael Melfeld Jr. and Bob Beltrami. Justin T. Wilkinson and Dennis Fuson in row 8. Row 9, Kyle McCartney, Fred Williams, Carl Burke, and Julian Ricci round out row number 10. Row 11, Wayne Fleet and Wayne Hutchinson. Earl Weaver and David Weaver make up row 12. Row 13, Brian Barnes and William Fletcher. Angelo Espo in the 718 Chevy with Chris Walker just to his outside. Dan Brasington and Dustin Burns round out row 15. Row 16, Larry Edsman and Paul Krumrei, Timothy Cook and Keith Kellman. Then we have Neil Messer, Barry Phil, and James Campbell. And it looks like starting probably in the pits if he joins is Alan Bergen. So that is the way they qualified. We'll get back up here to racing momentarily. All right, here they are getting set up. Wade Hustad will lead them to the green flag here. Justin Michael, Bentley Glazer, Butch Davis, row 1 and 2. Coming out of turn 4, pace car dives in. And we are getting set to go green. Go on green flag. They are down and away. Wade Hustad gets a pretty good push in the back there from Bentley Glazer. Glazer down to the inside, going to try and make it 3 wide before they even get to turn 1. Glazer down low. Hustad in the middle with Justin Michael up high. Michael backs out a little bit, lets these guys go. Bentley Glazer wastes no time, gets up into first position, and he will lead them down the backstretch. Wade Hustad stays in second. Justin Michael back in third. Ross Rollins just to his inside, and Butch Davis just to his outside. So here they go, getting almost 3 wide again. Even back behind them, you got Schmeier, Schulte, and Ryan Steele there. These guys are battling it out back and forth right now, trying to make their way through the race. Ross Rollins takes advantage, gets up into third. Justin Michael back to fourth. Butch Davis fifth. Ryan Steele still running that inside line, has Jeff Schmeier pushing him, and he is to the inside of Davis, looking to get close to Michael there as well. Side by side they are. As Ryan Steele slides up just a little bit, Justin Michael's still there. See if he can hold it down, and he does. Stay off him. So Schmeier slides up in front of Davis. Looks like he's looking to try and get to that outside lane, and he'll get behind Michael up there. Butch Davis just behind them. Andrew Schulte back there as well. Davis into the back of Schmeier, spins him around, and that will bring out our first caution of the evening. Let's take a look here. Let's see here. So there's Butch Davis. Let's take a look at the replay here. Go back just a little bit further. You can see he just gets a little bump there. Schmeier tries to stay out of the way, and Butch Davis just helps him back around. Andrew Schulte just barely squeezes through there. Schmeier's still spinning. Butch Davis as well gets a little more damage. A little bit of bump in the corner, and around she goes. So we will get set back up again and see what they have for us this time. They're getting all checked up and stacked up behind the pace car. Working right now, working on lap 5 of 80. Looks like we do have a couple guys elected to come down pit road. Maybe make a couple little adjustments. You can't make too many in this league, but make a little bit. If maybe you can get a little bit better brake bias and what have you. Maybe they're getting new tires after they hit the brakes a little rough. Maybe they're just topping off on fuel to split the race a little bit better. Okay, so Bentley Glazer's still going to be out in front. Wade Histad in second. Ross Rollins up to third. Ryan Steele up to fourth. Justin Michael faded back to fifth after he elected to back out of that battle that was hot for the lead. Jeff Hollinsworth up 2 positions. Lyle Swearingen up 4. Andrew Schulte back 2. Michael Melfett Jr. up 4. And Chad Simpson inside the top 10. So that is the way they sit as they run right now. We will get set here probably after this lap. They'll probably stack them back up here. We'll see how Bentley Glazer elects to attack this restart. He's down on the bottom side. So here we go. All right. Stacked up, ready to go. Bentley Glazer will have the button when they get to that restart zone. If you can get a good jump, see if Ross Rollins is going to be right on his back bumper, or if Ryan Steele is going to be able to push Histad to the front. They are set and ready to go here. That bottom line's getting closer and closer together. Glazer gets a good jump. Ross Rollins elects to go up to that high side. Starts arcs in that corner a little bit more, but Bentley Glazer does the same as well. Back behind them, they start to single file out a little bit there. Lyle Swearingen looked like he got a little bit free there. Looking at teammate Chad Simpson to try and get up there with him as well. You can see these guys take several different lines. Some guys staying down low, but they all try and fade back up into that high line once they get towards that front straightaway. That 155 of Michael Melfeld Jr. is all over the back bumper of Chad Simpson. Julian Ricci down to the inside, and he is making some moves here. Bob Beltrami notices that, jumps down to the inside, is going to try and use that to his advantage as Ricci slides up behind Melfeld Jr. there. Kyle McCartney pulls out behind Ricci, and it's going to go to his inside. Side by side they go into turn number 3. See if that high line is going to hold out, or if it looks like McCartney got just a little bit loose. You saw his back tire slide just a bit as they are working through lap 9 of 80 here. Side by side, the 1 and the 155, Ricci and Melfeld Jr. No strangers to each other. They raced around each other quite a bit last week as well. Bob Beltrami just in front of Ricci. And now Melfeld Jr. back to the inside of Ricci. Back and forth they go. Battling back here for 11th position, just outside the top 10. Bob Beltrami is in 10th. But Melfeld Jr. has a run. Is all over that back bumper of Beltrami here. And we'll see what happens when they get to turn 1. Beltrami drives it in deep. Looks like he's going to be able to hold that line. Andrew Schulte not quite keeping pace as Ricci gets right back to his back bumper. So now they're 2 by 2 back here for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Melfeld Jr. had a little bit of a run, elected to back out of it as Bob Beltrami comes down, and we are under a yellow flag. Let's see what for here. Like Fred Williams. See if we pick it up here. Oh. So it looks like Wayne Fleet just got into the side. And that was the end of that there. Go back under caution once again. Little has changed up front. Glazer still leads him. Hustad in second. Ryan Steele in third. Ross Rollins back in fourth. Anybody else elects to hit pit lane? It doesn't look like anybody's headed that way. Like Butch Davis took the wave around. So he should be back on the lead lap, it looks like. Brian Barnes is hits. So here we go. Stacking them up again. So same front row as before. Glazer and Hustad working together. Making their way down that backstretch. Michael Cruz in the chat. He might be because he is up front and he has been there for a while. But here we go again. Stacked up coming out of turn 4. They will, pace car will make that left-hand turn as always. We'll see how this restart gets going. Pace car is in. Glazer leads them to that Geico restart zone. Glazer gets a huge jump. Looks like Ross Rollins probably spun the tires as Ryan Steele was behind Glazer that time by. So here they are stacked up again. Looks like that 32 might have its hands full with Ryan Steele just down to his inside. Jeff Hollinsworth making his way up inside the top 5, up 4 positions right now as they battle it out going down that backstretch coming into turn 3. Side by side they are still for second place. Everybody else kind of single filed out behind them. Look back through the field, see who's all got some battles going on, and it looks like Justin Michael is going to fall into the grips of either Beltrami or Chad Simpson right now. Chad Simpson gets a run down low, Beltrami up high, leaves Michael in the middle. Michael's able to clear Beltrami, gets a little bit of run, and it's Ryan Steele who pulls out and then pulls back in as he got a little bit loose there, coming out of 2. Stacked back up again and back behind them. We got Simpson, Michael, Beltrami, and Schulte side by side working their way around the track here. Schulte closes in on Simpson there. Almost gave him a little bit of a bump draft, but saw how that worked earlier, and that is not something you probably want to do, especially in these corners. Schulte, Beltrami, and Michael all battling it out back here. Beltrami down to the inside of Michael. He is going to get that position, get side by side with Schulte. Julian Ricci slides up and gets almost into Michael. There's Michael starting to fade back just a little bit here. And don't look now, but that 18 of Kyle McCartney's up 6 positions, working his way through the field as well. Julian Ricci up 10, but neither one of them are the biggest mover of the race. Biggest mover of the race is back here at 19th, and that is Paul Krumreich, sporting a new number, the number 3. Dan Brazington just in front of him. Wayne Fleet, after being involved in that early caution, is still running inside the top 20 right now. Michael Melfelt looks like he hit pit lane on lap 11. Is going to put him down the field just a little bit. Saw him battling up towards Ricci earlier. Fleet gets in the middle. And now David Weaver is going to come in and try and pass him as well as Angelo Espo. Lyle Swearingen everybody's looking to go past Wayne Fleet right now. Fleet is hemorrhaging positions at the moment. David Weaver going to pass him on the inside. Charles Woods as well. Chris Walker's looking to get around him as Wayne Fleet kind of backed up right into him. Brian Barnes looking to make a run as well. These let's battle it out here. Here we go. Put that ticker back up for you. Ryan Steele up to second. Jeff Hollingsworth in third. Chad Simpson fourth. Andrew Schulte up to fifth. Wade Hustad is now hemorrhaging positions, just like we said earlier. Maybe he used a little bit too much of his tires trying to hang on up front, or maybe it's a strategy play to let these guys kind of come back to him. If he's looking to save tires, that might be the play here. Looking at the lap times, looks like everybody's about a second off of their best lap. So that is just the way these tires look like they're wearing in. Justin Michael down to the inside of Hustad, going to try and pass him there as well. Bob Beltrami sitting right between them. Like he's running about the two path up the corner. As Hustad gets behind Michael there and is going to see if he can get a little bit of a draft help to get him pulled up towards the front. Hustad down to the inside is going to try and pass Michael down there. Bob Beltrami into the wall, saves it. Everybody else moves out of the way. Kyle McCartney is going to take advantage. Julian Ricci might be taking advantage as well, and he will. Dennis Fuson in that number 11. Not quite close enough to take advantage, but he is closing the gap on Beltrami right at the moment. Beltrami is able to gather that car back in, and he is back up to speed right behind Ricci. But Fuson looking to his outside, might be able to make that pass. Also, Justin Wilkinson down to his inside, might be three wide momentarily, and we almost are. Wilkinson down to the inside, but Beltrami still able to pull just in front of Fuson and Wilkinson here. As we make our way through lap 23, got some battles going on up front as Hollingsworth and Simpson are battling. We also had a change for the lead with Ryan Steele taking advantage and getting past Bentley Glazer. He is now out to almost a half-second lead over Glazer. Looks like Glazer might have caught that outside wall just a little bit as all these guys are flying up through the field. Looks like tires might be an issue for Glazer as he's starting to slow down just a bit. Chad Simpson, Jeff Hollingsworth, and Andrew Schulte all trying to take advantage relatively quickly here. It's a little bit of bump there. Looks like Hollingsworth still able to stay in front of Schulte there. Justin Michael just behind them. Michael slides up in front of Glazer. Glazer in front of Hustad there. Hollingsworth slides back up in front of Schulte. Schulte down to the inside, going to try and make a run down there. And they are side by side as they come out of two and down that backstretch they go.
These guys are battling like crazy up here. Dennis Busan, Julian Ricci, Michael Melfelt. Kyle McCartney made the pass on Glazer. Wade Thistad did as well. We had a couple guys that had a little bit of issues towards the back as they're starting to give some positions away. Butch Davis fading back just a little bit as David Weaver down to his inside and Barry Phil just in front of him. But Ryan still leading out front has managed that gap to be about a half a second every time. Chad Simpson, no real challenge back in second. Andrew Schulte and Justin Michael battling it out side by side for third. Justin Michael makes a pass on Schulte. Jeff Hollingsworth back to fifth now. Kyle McCartney up 11 spots. Still not the biggest mover. And neither is Paul Kermery right now, as Barry Phil, that 99, is up 14 positions right at the moment, as he's getting passed now by Butch Davis. Side by side they go. Davis starts to slide up and then thinks better of it a little bit, gets a little bit more room between him and that 99 and slides up there. David Weaver going to try and take advantage and pass Barry Phil there as well. But still up front, these guys have single filed it out and they are working through the race. And as they do that, we're going to go ahead and step aside for our first break. We'll be back in just a moment. You won't miss anything as we go side by side. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Western States Racing League. This is round 15 at Michigan. You saw lots of close battles going on as Bentley Glazer closes the back of Michael Melfelt Jr. The 19 of Justin Wilkinson's all over that back bumper. If he can give him a little push to get him going up here. Looks like he backs off just a little bit as they come through the corner. Glazer and Melfelt side by side. Melfelt gets a little bit loose, gathers it in, but you can see these guys starting to slide a little bit everywhere. As we kind of go through a race recap, pole setter Wade Hustad is back in 7th. Led basically no laps as Bentley Glazer took the lead right from the get-go, but now Glazer has backed up into 10th, so it looks like those two battling it out on the front end for the majority of the race. Kind of did in their tires. Ryan still sat back a little ways. He's up 6 positions now, leading the race. Justin Michael is in the same spot he started. When the race started, he backed up, fell back almost to 10th, and now he has worked his way back up into 2nd. Chad Simpson sitting in 3rd right now, dealing with Andrew Schulte. Side by side they go. Schulte down to the inside, and he's probably going to clear him before they come out of turn number 4 here, and he does. We'll see if Chad Simpson gets on his back bumper and going to try and cross him over. It looks like he doesn't. He just stays glued right to it as they battle it out down that front stretch. Kyle McCartney back inside the top 5, up 12 positions. One of the biggest movers of the race. Paul Kermery was the biggest mover. He's lost a couple positions. Now he's back into 20th. He's up 12 positions at the moment. But up front, it is still Ryan Steele, and he's still basically managing that gap back to 2nd with Justin Michael. It was a half second when we left. Now it is down to about 0.4 of a second, but it's stayed that way almost lap after lap. Why don't we jump on board here on the of this number 12. Kind of get a feel for the racetrack as it comes to the start finish line here. Off just a little bit, and you can feel or hear those tires start sliding just a little bit. He waits till he's almost straight again to get back in the gas, because he gives it a little too much gas before those tires are straight away. He's going to spin that puppy around. Here I'm kind of feather that throttle just a bit in 3 and 4. Starting to drive straighter on the front stretch there. And he'll get back towards that outside wall as he dives it into turn 1. Pretty much the way everybody's been driving this track. You guys should be getting pretty close to deciding what they want to do about their pit strategy here. We're going to be completing lap 38 this time by Kyle McCartney, Chad Simpson side by side. Back here for 4th. McCartney takes it away from Simpson. And just at like that, well, that's the lap car of the 28. William Fletcher. Looks like he came in, got tires on the lap 31, so he is definitely faster right now. He's going to catch this lead group of cars here. So we know the fall off right now. Ryan Steele's best lap was a 39.67, which was early in this run. His last lap was a 41.61, so he's definitely lost a couple seconds there. As you see the fresh tires of William Fletcher just making it work. He's going to get his lap back to Hardway momentarily as he dives down to the inside. It's going to pass Ryan Steele, almost like Steele standing still. Fletcher, I mean, even Fletcher's last lap there, once they clear here, his last lap was a 40.39. So he's almost a second and a half faster than Ryan Steele was. So those tires are going to be important. So it's going to be how long are you going to stay out and let those tires wear so you have fresh tires towards the end, because after these guys have this figured out, it's going to be one of those races where if you have the fresh tires at the right time, that's going to be what's going to win you the race. Or if you're saving the tires, you might see some of these guys start to back off a little bit on this second run after they get their fresh tires and save them for a little bit later so they have the better tires when you come to the end of this race, especially if the way these guys are running and the amount of respect that they have on track. These guys have the capability to go these last laps and make it a solid green flag run. And if that's what you're thinking they're going to do, you only want to pit one time, and you want to have the best tires at the end of the race. So we'll see what happens here. Ryan Steele is one of the guys that seems to always have the fuel mileage and tire strategy figured out on some of these racetracks. He was able to one-stop a race that everybody else was thinking it was going to be two. So we'll see what happens pretty quick here as we have a few takers headed to pit lane. Bob Beltrami in. Berryville in. And at that, we'll be right back. All right, they're still battling up front here just a little bit, but we have more people electing to hit pit lane. Angelo Espo in. Chris Walker was just like he went out and then came back in. We'll see who blinks up here on this front line as we are working on lap 43. So you might want to get a couple extra laps here so you know you'll have enough fuel here. Kyle McCartney back in fourth. Chad Simpson fifth. Mistad still holding on here to sixth. And then it's about a second back to Wilkinson and Michael Melfelt Jr. back there a little ways as well. Lyle Swearingen. They've got the 52 of Carl Burke. Hit pit lane's got those fresh tires, and he is going to try and make a little way through here. Like Chad Simpson in, Jeff Hollinsworth in. Wayne Fleet's going to come in. These guys are all getting their final, what they hope will be their final set of tires and fuel. Get them to the end of the race. So Hollinsworth, Schmeier, Chad Simpson, Brazington, Anil Messer, Wayne Fleet all in. Like a couple guys there. Let's see if we can do here. A little bit of race off pit lane there. Wilkinson, Swearingen, Kyle McCartney in, Bentley Glazer in. Looks like Michael Melfeld Jr. should be coming in this time. So like I said, it's all going to be about who blinks first out of this front group, and it looks like everybody decided to come in at about the same time. Schulte got loose. Steele's driving down the middle. Justin Michael out to that outside lane. Hustad in as well. which gives the race lead over to Dennis Fuson. So we'll see how these guys hit their pits here. See who gets off pit lane first. Tires up on the right side. It looks like Fuson's coming in as well. Race off pit road. Justin Michael got out there first. So that turns the lead over to, looks like Keith Kellman might get a lap led here. And there you can just see how much faster the 4 fresh tires are. He should be coming in any time here. James Campbell will be coming in. And sitting back in P2 at the moment. He hadn't pitted all race. Keith Kellman pitted on lap 4. It looks like the leader might be coming here as Chad Simpson. He hit pit late on lap 44. And it looks like Keith Kellman's headed to pit lane. So as we hit 50 laps, we should be getting pretty close to everybody cycling through here. So Keith Kellman in the pits. As like Chad Simpson's gonna try and race around here and take the lead. He has not. He just did, like right when he started the start-finish line. Kellman's pit was back there just a little ways. We got Simpson, Schulte, and Michael. As Kyle McCartney pitted a lap later than Chad Simpson. So he is trying to get his lap back the hard way, and it looks like he will. So 30 laps to go here, as they just completed lap 50. As Andrew Schulte is down to the inside, going to try and pass Simpson. Still about side by side. Schulte gets a little bit of a better run going into the corner. It looks like he will be able to clear Simpson. And Simpson's also going to have a rear view full of Justin Michaels. Michaels down to his inside. Is going to try and make that pass down low. He will probably do it before they get to turn 1. Andrew Schulte is staying up high just a little bit. Side by side for Michael and Simpson there. As he slides up in front. Andrew Schulte now battling the 13 of James Campbell. Down to the inside goes Schulte. Gonna pass Campbell. Campbell did have a little bit fresher tires, but he is just a little bit slower on track. Michael down to the inside, gonna try and pass him there as well, all before they get out of turn 4 and head down that front straightaway. So, Schulte, Michael, and Simpson. And don't look now, but here comes Wade Hustad here. He is down to the inside of Simpson. He's going to see if he can make a run here and use Campbell kind of as a pick. as Campbell doesn't slide up high enough to allow Chad Simpson to get that run. Ryan Steele back there as well, side by side with Simpson. We'll see if these two cars can get by the 13 of James Campbell before they get to turn 1. And it doesn't look like they're able to, as he slides up just a little bit and almost make contact with the 13. Instead makes his way around him. We'll see if Steele's going to be able to clear as Chad Simpson tries to figure out a way to get by the 13 as well. We got Schulte and Michael, Hustad and Steele, 1, 2, 3, 4. These guys are battling it out. Basically the same thing we saw last time Schulte and Michael were on track together. They basically worked together, battled it out, and it was between those two at the end. We'll see if that's what's going to happen this week as well. Schulte down to the inside, passes Wayne Fleet, and looks like Timothy Cook is going to get past there as well. Not quite, still side by side. Didn't quite have a good enough run coming off the corner. Climbs up behind him. If he's going to slide down coming into turn 1, and he does, he'll be able to probably clear him as Justin Michael looks to get by Wayne Fleet. Michael's by Wayne Fleet. If he can get sucked up to the 24 of Timothy Cook, get around him, down to the inside he goes. The lap cars aren't really having too much of an effect here as Steele gets by Fleet. Hustad down to the inside, door to door with Timothy Cook there. He gets by. Let's see if Steele's going to be able to clear him before they get out of turn 2, and he does. Down the backstretch they go. The leaders are all single file now as they start to close in on, like that might be Chris Walker back there. Or maybe not. Nope, that's Neil Messer. So many guys running that FBR team paint scheme. Hard to tell them apart sometimes. Glad they joined us. Always happy to see those guys on track here. Michael and Schulte 1, 2. Wade Hustad and Ryan Steele 3 and 4. If there's anybody battling out back here, not too much. Looks like Schmeier and Hollinsworth kind of traded a little bit of blows there, but not anything serious as they both pitted on the same lap. They both have the same tires, and looks like neither one of them are trying to push it too far at the moment. As we complete lap 59, we're going to go ahead and step away, take our last break of the night. When we come back, we'll bring you all of the action for the finish of this race as Justin Michael has been closing in on Andrew Schulte. So we should be in for an exciting last 20 laps as Michael, Schulte, Hustad, and Steele all battle it out. And as they go battling for the lead, we will stay right here until this is settled a little bit here. Justin Michael on his inside, Andrew Schulte to the outside. Michael's going to be able to clear him as they come down the front stretch. Uses all of the track he can. It's almost a car length. If he's going to be able to clear him, or if Schultz is going to battle back here on the high side. And it looks like Michael cleared him. So see if that holds up one lap before we take a break here. And looks like we are going to be good for just a little bit here. We'll go ahead and step aside, watch these guys battle it out as we go side by side. You won't miss anything, and we'll be right back momentarily. All right, welcome back, everybody. As we get down to about 15 laps to go here, we got Justin Michael, Andrew Schulte battling it out for the lead. Kyle McCartney is trying to stay on the lead lap. He is battling it back each and every time, but looks like Justin Michael might just have a little bit too much speed. But if you're sitting back there in second with Schulte, Hustad, and Steele, you've got to be thinking, all right, get this guy out of the way so we can just battle it to the end. But Kyle McCartney wants to keep that lap, wants to stay there in case something does happen. Here they go through turn 4. Kyle McCartney down to the inside. Looks like Justin Michael stays up high. We got about 3-4 different lines running there. Kyle McCartney stays low, tries to get out of the way, lets these guys battle it out up front. He is still sitting pretty good right now, as he is the first car on, or first car a lap down. As long as he stays where he is and doesn't, and these leaders don't pass anybody else, he should be good to go. Like Chad Simpson is fading back quite a little ways. He's over 3.5 seconds back from the top 4 right now. So it looks like this race might come down to these 4 drivers and who is able to finish it, as Ryan Steele goes down to the inside. Is going to try to pass Hustad, and he does. See if he's going to be able to slide up in front or not quite. Looks like he got just a little bit loose, so Hustad's going to be able to stay right with him there. So these four are still working it. Next car that is coming up is going to be David Weaver. Looks like they've got quite a gap momentarily. Could be coming up on them probably within the next couple laps, I'd imagine. But right now, these top four are pretty much just kind of on cruise control at the moment. Kind of settled it between themselves. Everybody's got about a half second between everybody else. Guys are trying to figure out which one of them is going to have the tires at the end of the race, as we are going to complete lap 70 here. Kyle McCartney still isn't going away. He's still hanging on to the back of these top four here. They're still set up here. Jeff Hollinsworth. All these guys are different laps down. Lyle Swearingen, top 5 right now. He's about 3.5 seconds back. Justin Michael, 9 laps to go. See how this race finishes. Justin Michael out to about a half-second lead over Schulte. Schulte's slowly starting to come into the grips of Ryan Steele. Ryan Steele has pulled about a half-second gap on Wade Hustad here. Justin Michael was the winner when we were at Pocono. See if he's able to get that, get a second win here. Ryan Steele still closing in. See if he's going to have anything for Schulte. It looks like the top 3 are going to be pretty close to set to where it's going to be. It's a matter of which way is which. Ryan Steele all over the back bumper of Schulte. Justin Michael now going to have to deal with David Weaver. He is closing in there now. Michael down to the inside is going to get past Weaver pretty much no problem here. Jolta and Steele still battling it out for second. Steele down to the inside. Jolta up high, side by side through the start-finish line. Justin Michael slides up in front of Weaver there, as these guys are still side by side for P2. Steele has it right at the moment. Jolta slides loose, gets a little loose. That back end wants to come around. He saves it, and he has lost almost a half a second now on Ryan Steele. That little slide there looks like it might have cost Jolta a shot at second place. He's gathered it in. He's side by side with Weaver. He's got Weaver and Kyle McCartney in between him and Wade Hustad here. So he should be doing all right here to hang on for a podium position at the moment. Justin Michael still driving away. He's got a lap car of the 23 of Chris Walker in between himself and Ryan Steele. He also has almost a 8/10 second of a gap here, as there's 4 laps to go, 3 once we hit the line again. Michael slides up, gets that high line he likes. He's been staying higher than almost everybody else when it comes through the start-finish line. We saw a few of the other guys kind of dive down and keep it relatively straight and hit almost that infill grass. 3 laps to go. Michael has over a half-second gap right now, and he has 2 cars between him. Ryan Steele down to the inside, makes quick work of those 2 lap cars. Now it's just him and Michael set to battle it out. Michael still has 7/10 of a second right now. We'll see if Ryan Steele can close any of that gap, as it looked like he just found almost the turbo boosters when he went by those 2 cars like they were standing still. But Justin Michael still out there leading the lap. And it doesn't look like Ryan Steele's going to be able to catch him as we are under caution. And that will throw everything out the window. Goodbye. So we'll go back here and take a look here. Oh, I don't know what happened with Wade. Let's go back again. Let's bring up the dashboard here. Here we go. Looks like he was just off the gas. So here we go. And it looks like everybody's going to come down pit lane for the most part. Take a look here from the pit lane cam. It is a green-white checker finish here. Everybody's going to come in, get those 4 fresh tires. Ryan Steele down and away. Looks like he's going to get off first. Justin Michael in second. Andrew Schulter, Lion Swearingen round out the top four. Bentley Glazer up to fifth. Chad Simpson sixth. So that is going to be drama for the restart here. Oh, here we go as it gets all set up once again. Corey McCartney joining us in the chat here. Chris Simard also. So Ryan Steele will lead them after the pace lights go off. Wayne Fleet and like Brian Barnes have to get around, or Dustin Burns has to get around here. We'll get them stacked up and ready to go. Ryan Steele takes the high side. Justin Michael down low. Andrew Schulte, Lion Swearingen, Bentley Glazer, Chad Simpson, Michael Melfeld Jr., Jeff Hollinsworth, Justin T. Wilkinson, and Jeff Schmeier round out the top 10. 3 laps to go. We'll get a green flag. We'll get a white flag, and hopefully we'll be coming back for the checkers. So here we go, getting ready. That top line is hooked together pretty well here. Andrew Schultz is right on the back bumper of Ryan Steele. They're down and away. Like Ryan Steele had a heck of a jump there. Justin Michael in second. Andrew Schultz third. Bentley Glazer in fourth. Here they go battling out through the corner. Justin Michael has a run, gets right to the back bumper of Ryan Steele, down to his inside. Going to pass Ryan Steele before they come into turn 3. Steele and Michael. Looks like Ryan Steele has a little bit more on that high side, momentum anyway. Justin Michael battling out as they come to the start-finish line. Give that lap to Justin Michael. White flag in the air. We are racing back for checkers here. Michael and Steele side by side. Andrew Schultz sitting pretty right behind him. Bentley Glazer closing the gap as well. Steele and Michael side by side, still battling it out. Inches between them. We'll see how this goes as they come through 3. Michael has a little bit of a lead. Gets a push there from Schulte. Ryan Steele is now hanging on to second. Justin Michael, Ryan Steele, and Andrew Schulte is the way they cross the line. Bentley Glazer up to 4th. Chad Simpson 5th. Jeff Hollinsworth back in 6th. Michael Melfeld, Justin Wilkinson, Lionel Swearingen, and Jeff Schmeier, the top 5. So, green-white checker does not disappoint. All 3 drivers had a shot to win. Even Bentley Glazer there back in 4th was looking to make his 100 race a winner, but comes up just short of the podium position. Glad to see him back in action here. But Justin Michael, I believe, is going to make it almost 2 for 2. as he did win back at Pocono, and he's able to bring home the win here. Martinsburg, West Virginia is where he calls home. Pulls that 87 there into victory lane. Go ahead and bring him in here as he's burning it down. Hey, Justin, Mike up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, heck of a race. Looks like you kind of had the strategy of trying to save your tires for the first part of that race, and you were able to bring home the win when it counted here.
Yeah, I tell you what, we were trash on the short run, and I don't know where I got all that speed at there with 2 to go under the green white checker, but I just sent it and was hoping it would stick, and it did. I was very surprised.
Yeah, that definitely didn't seem like that was something you wanted to see with that caution coming out and giving you a green white checker here, but you were able to make it work. It was a heck of a race. You guys all crossed the line within a couple car lengths of each other. How was it being back in victory lane, and how do you plan on going forward now?
Oh, it's always good to be in victory lane, especially here. This is a pretty tough track. This setup was, on the long one, was really loose. You were really riding that right rear tire off the turns, and it just progressively got worse. So, yeah, I show up here, whenever I can. I know I don't get to race every Tuesday. I wish I could, but, work and all that kind of gets in the way, unfortunately. So,
Definitely. Anybody you want to thank for your victory tonight?
just everybody out there watching, it was a good show, hopefully, and you guys call a great race. Andrew and all the guys at Bandit Motorsports, good group of guys there. We always stick together, help each other out. So I don't know if I don't think Andrew was able to get second. I was trying to help him there at the end, but still podium. So it's a good race for him. And Ryan, man, that was a really good run there at the end for him too. Really close racing, really clean racing. I really appreciate him.
Definitely. Well, I will let you go celebrate your win, and maybe I'll talk to you later in the season.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. That was the race winner. Let's bring in P2. Hey, Ryan, Mike up in the booth. How's it going, man?
Pretty good for a change. Got to actually race today.
Yeah, missed you, I guess, the last couple weeks, but looks like this was almost your style of track because you seem to be able to save fuel and save tires probably better than almost anybody I've seen recently anyway. Was that kind of the strategy going into the race?
Yeah, I mean, Michigan has proved once again to me that it is my best track on iRacing because I was super scared when my practice times were not very good. I think it was like 31st fastest in practice, and I'm like, where am I going to get the speed? And then in the race, it was just like, oh, these guys are just tearing up the tires for the first few laps. That's why I'm slow in practice. So all I had to do was wait until about 20 laps, and then I was just eating them up. And yeah, it made it for a fun race.
Definitely did. Looked like that green-white checker, you were going to be able to maybe hold him off just a little bit, but Justin Michael there was able to just get you at the end. You were able to hold off Andrew Schulte by not very much between you guys, probably not even half a nose of the car.
Yeah, and it looks like it was like a thousandth of a second or something for the last second spot there. But yeah, since I hadn't tried very hard on my short run speed, I didn't think I was even going to get second. Like I thought I was kind of boned, unless I managed to get a huge gap on the start, which is why I went as early as I possibly could. And yeah, I guess like I said, I won't complain about second. With the number of races I've been wrecked within the first caution this season, I will take a second that was mostly uneventful.
Definitely. Anybody you want to thank before I let you go?
I've always got to thank my Dog Bear teammates for helping prepare for the races, and I got to thank you guys for covering the series.
Awesome. Well, I'll let you go, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you. See ya.
Andrew, how's it going?
Good. How we doing, Mike?
Oh, not too bad. Well, it looked like you were almost able to get up there for P2, but just not quite. Looked like you guys kind of had a plan, and it was working pretty well till that that caution came out.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were P3 going into the caution, and wound up finishing P3, so not, I can't complain about that. I figured I was going to finish there anyways. Feel a little bit bad for, who was that? I think it was Wade. Got caught up with the lap car there, especially towards the end of the race. I mean, we're just trying to survive through the traffic, and something unfortunate like that happens. Got to feel for him. 'Cause he had a good run going, but wanted to say congrats to Justin. He was him and Ryan were way faster on the long run than I was. I had pace, but not I just couldn't save as much tire as they did there. So just want to say congrats to them on P1 and P2 there.
Definitely. Well, you've kind of made a splash here in the Western States Racing League, coming in and see yourself on the podium almost more times than not. So you definitely are doing something right. Anybody you want to thank for your finish tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we're doing what we can do. I mean, these guys being new to the league, there's definitely a fast pace that's set by a lot of these guys. So it's good competition. It's a lot of fun, and a lot of clean racing too, which is always good to have. But wanted to thank Patented Paints for the paint job on the car today. Shout out to Bandit Motorsports. Congrats to Justin, one of my teammates from there. Good to see him in victory lane, and was doing everything I could behind him to help on that green white checkered to at least get one of us in victory lane today. Yeah, I think that's about it.
All right. Well, I will let you go, and maybe I'll talk to you later in the season.
Appreciate it.
Yep. All right. So that was the top three. Let's go ahead and get to the race results here. Justin Michael able to bring home the win. Ryan Steele in second. Andrew Schulte third. Bentley Glazer fourth. Chad Simpson rounds out that top five. Jeff Hollinsworth in sixth. Michael Melfeld Jr. in seventh. Justin Wilkinson in eighth. Lyle Swearge in ninth. Jeff Schmeier rounds out the top 10. Dennis Fuson, Julian Ricci, Wayne Hutchinson, Ross Rollins, Brian Barnes, the top 15. Charles Woods, Keith Kelman, Bob Beltrami. And then we go back to Kyle McCartney and Dan Brasington inside the top 20. Angelo Espo, Butch Davis, William Fletcher, Wayne Fleet, James Campbell, David Weaver, Paul Kermery, Neil Messer. Then we got Barry Phil, Timothy Cook, Dustin Burns, Earl Weaver, Carl Burke, Wade Hustad. Terrible luck, as was mentioned by Andrew Schulte there. Finishes 34th. Chris Walker, 35th. Larry Edmondson, 36th. Fred Williams, 37th. And Alan Bergen did not start. So that will wrap it up here from Michigan. And as we look forward to the next race is going to be in New Hampshire in these Xfinities for 120 laps. So we will see you guys next time from Michigan, from New Hampshire, from Michigan, and everybody at the Western States Racing League, and everybody at Sim Racing Media. This is Mike Demoney saying good night, and we will see you all next time.